Wait, when I was 40. Then I was really popular. Then they were chasing me, coming after me, traveling an hour to connect with me.
Grandpa, will you tell us about your first job?
My first job.
Comic book store. Not comic book store.
Oh.
Comic company.
I was an errand boy. I would go and carry packages or messages to a couple of the other buildings
Mm-hmm.
that we were connected with.
What company was this?
It was a big company.
Marvel.
Was this the DC Comics?
DC Comics.
DC Comics?
I did work for DC Comics.
But the errand boy wasn't with DC Comics. Was the errand boy for DC Comics?
I think so, yeah. But I would get the comics. I had a lot of comics. Because there they were, DC Comics. And I sort of met, some of the ones who wrote the comics. But one day, there wasn't enough work. There was 2 of us in this stock room. And there wasn't enough work. So we'd sit around and talk. One day the boss came in and saw that we weren't doing anything. So he changed things. I don't know what he did. Did he fire me? Could have been. Because I wasn't needed. And the other guy was older and had been there longer. So I think I was let go. I'm not sure. That was a nice job. DC Comics.
Yeah.
Detective Comics. Superman. I got the Superman comics and the who's the detective?
Dick Tracy?
Dick
Tracy.
Tracy. Yeah, that's the guy. I loved comics. In fact, I learned how to read, or I learned how to read fast by reading comics.
Dick Tracy was the guy with the video watch. Video phone watch.
Yes.
Do we have video phone watches now?
Smartwatches.
Can you do a video call with them?
I think you can. Can you?
I'm sure there's one out there that can.
That's
Probably top of
not
line.
really practical.
It's not really practical when it's on your phone.
Yeah, everybody just carries a phone in their back pocket.
But the life was out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
I'd leave my house. Once I left the house 9 o'clock in the morning and walked up on a mile to watch the baseball games and stuff. I didn't get home till 9 at night. And I was only about 11. My mother might have worried, but she didn't.
What was your relationship like with your siblings?
Rather good, I was the first son. And then my brother came 5 years later. So for 5 years I got a lot of attention.
3 older sisters. You had 3 older sisters.
3 older sisters. Selma, who wasn't too good looking woman. And then Helen, who was tall and very nice looking. And she was a little different. She was more independent in the family. And she could fight for herself, stand up for herself with my father. He nearly threw her down the stairs one day. Oh, yeah. Because she challenged him. Charlotte was a beautiful blonde. brother was born 5 years later, and he became the sort of the favorite. He's the youngest. I lost my special place. I was jealous. But then we became good buddies. I taught him how to play ball. Taught him how to play basketball. I was supposed to take care of him and protect him. And I did. And he grew to 6'1" and took care of me.
What was Dad like as a kid?
He was the cutest boy imaginable. He had red hair.
Really? Very little? You had red hair?
Red hair. And he was the cutest young boy you could imagine.
Did he give you a lot of trouble?
Red hair.
What about Aunt Eve and Aunt Vicky?
Eve? Eve wasn't too good with me. But she developed it. She became powerful. Powerful woman. When she ran things at her place. And became CEO. And her latest thing is, where to? That's the name of the company. She's the CEO.
She's not the CEO, she's the C.
COO?
What's the question?
She's not the CEO. She's an officer in the company. She's not the head officer.
She's somewhat important.
Yeah, but that particular unit is.
Yeah, she's an officer.
She was smart. She was bright. She did well in school. Charlotte had some trouble in school. She had, especially in the last year of high school. She didn't quite pass the course she had to pass. There was one difficult class, mathematics, I think.
Who was that?
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay, we went from Aunt D to
But Charlotte,
Great Aunt Charlotte.
Charlotte was beautiful. And sweet. The guys were after Charlotte. Brought home some handsome guys. Helen was tall and independent. And she went to college. My sister Selma did not go to college. My sister Charlotte did not go to college. But Helen did. And she got her bachelor's and then she got her master's. And she was a teacher. Typing and shorthand. And while she was studying for her test, she had to do 80 words per minute. I would dictate to her and dictate faster in order for her to develop the speed. But she passed. She got her license. And she was a teacher, high school teacher. For quite a while. Yeah, she got the most education of my sisters. My sister Selma was a whiz, but she just had one semester college, but she worked for Latin American affairs. And she was sort of in charge of Latin American affairs for the government. Yeah, she advanced because of her abilities, practice. Charlotte, she wasn't so much into career. She had trouble in high school. I don't know if she ever made it through 8th grade. And not in 8th grade, 12th grade. She had trouble with mathematics. I don't know if she passed in the end or didn't pass in the end. Didn't matter much in her life. Three older sisters. That was kind of special.
Tell us about your cousins. You had cousins who lived real close to you. They were good buddies with you.
I had cousins. I had my cousin Murder, who was my father's brother, daughter, and she and I got pretty close. We went on dates together, and my father had a sort of a pickup truck with 3 seats in the front. And Murder and I would go on dates together. She with her guy, she'd sit on his lap. My girl would sit next to me, and I'd be in the driver's seat. And we'd drive for an hour or so. And she'd be on her guy's lap. But she and I, her brother got killed in the war. My cousin Al. He got killed by a buzzball. He was a gunner on a plane. And he got killed. And when he did, Murder and I sort of spent the day and stuff together. And that was tragedy. My cousin Al, he was tall, red-headed, good-looking. And he was drafted, served in the military, and he got killed by a buzzball. That was a big tragedy. That was my father's brother's son. Dave was my father's brother, and he got more education than my father. My father could read to maybe the 2nd, 3rd grade level, so he couldn't get his plumber's license.
That's in English. He could only read to 2nd grade in English, but he was fluent in.
He was literate
in what?
Jewish.
In Yiddish.
He read the Jewish paper. The forwards, or the forward. And my father never got past 2nd or 3rd grade, so he couldn't get his plumber's license because he couldn't pass the test. So he worked off my uncle's license. They both were plumbers. Coven and Coven. Coven Plumbing.
Isn't that when they changed the name from Kovinsky to Coven? Is that when they changed it?
I don't quite know when they changed it, but they changed it from Kovinsky. Your name could be Kovinsky. Name Kovinsky.
Senti Koviensky. How do you like that?
But they changed it to Coven, which was much better. You know what a coven is?
Gathering of witches.
Right, gathering of warlocks and witches.
Did you know that when the name was changed? When did you find that out?
Somewhere along the line.
So, was it your father that came over, or was it your grandfather that came over?
Good
No, you know this.
I think my grandfather did come over.
No.
I remember you telling me this.
Your father came over. He was chased out because he was passing out Zionist literature,
Right.
and his name was on a hit list from the government,
Right.
and he had to.
He had to run and escape across Europe.
He had to borrow his brother's identification.
Did he? Yeah.
That's what you told us.
Yeah. So he had to run across Europe when he was in Eastern Europe. So imagine the countries he had to cross through. Latvia. He was in, what's the one with the name?
Latvia, Lithuania,
Lithuania.
Isn't that where our family is from? Lithuania?
Lithuania.
Coven, Lithuania, and
Belarus.
Yeah, Belarus. And it was part of Russia and then wasn't part of Russia. So he was a Russian Jew. And he had to get the hell out. So he went across Europe, got to France, I guess, and got a boat to the U.S. My mother was born in the U.S., but her parents had just got there. My mother was the firstborn.
So where did your mother's parents come from? Was that
I would say it was Lithuania,
Lithuania?
Poland. They were very lovely. My grandpa
I think he
Morris
knows.
and my Bobbie Esther. My grandpa Morris, he used to threaten us. We'd be running around playing, and he'd yell at us, "Chicho, Chicho," which means quiet, shut up, Chicho, Chicho. Oh. Oh, yeah. He was a good dad, children loved him. He was a short man. My Bobbie Esther, she was an old lady, old face, but very sweet, very sweet. She was my grandma. I loved her. Loved my grandma too.
Did you ever meet your father's parents? Your father's parents.
No, they never made it over. My father had a stepmother who was a bitch. He had a stepmother, but he gave her respect and stuff. I met her stepmother. My sisters know the history better than me.
Mm-hmm.
They were older. My father, who couldn't, read or write past the second grade, but he was an entrepreneur. He would buy houses. Now, he didn't own them. The bank, and he owned them in some way. But he had developed about 8 houses. And during the war, he worked in the Brooklyn Navy Yard as a plumber. And he got a steady salary. So he was able to pay off his debt and become solvent. And he then owned the houses. I would go to the houses and collect rents. $22 a month for three rooms. Some of them is more expensive, $28 a month. But I'd go and collect rent for him. I was a rent collector.
Did you ever have to fight for that rent? Did you ever have to fight for that rent?
No.
No. Shake him down.
But some of them didn't have the money and didn't pay. One of the apartments turned out to be a prostitute's place. She was able to pay.
Which was the one that got blown up?
That was in Coney Island.
Oh, yeah.
And I got blown up. My father was in the bail bond business where you interact with criminals. And my mother was too. My mother would drive with a criminal on either side. But they were in the bail bond business. They would bail them out of jail.
So that was before your dad became a plumber?
No, I think my father became a plumber.
Tell us about Kent State,
Kent State?
the Kent State event. You were involved in the Kent State event.
Yes, I was. Oh, that was bad. That was a year of where the students were protesting, I think the war. We were in Vietnam or something, and they were protesting. And they would protest right on the corner of our street. Protests were pretty bad. I was in one. And at one point, the police or something said, you get on that side or you're going to be on this side. And then you'll be subject to arrest. So we got on the other side. And it was right on the corner of the street we lived in. Those were severe protests. And that was for the Vietnam War or Korea War. One of the two.
Vietnam.
What about good memories of Kent State?
What's that?
Good memories of Kent State.
Good memories. Yeah. That was, I got my doctorate at University of Arizona. I taught there for a year. And then the first professor job I got was at Kent State. And the guy at Kent State said, come here, we really want you, and I'll take care of you. I had an offer at San Diego State, and I was leaning towards San Diego, but I could not resist his saying, we want you, we'll take care of you. Turned out